guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Hello, we're back, and some people been wondering where we've been. It don't matter, cause right now it's happening. Same station, new day and time slot. Content forever is flowing, we won't stop. Providing remedies for chemical brain freeze. And teaching reboot, stressing you believe. We're two bald guys and a microphone. We're glad to be back, it feels good to be home.
Ooh, look at that festive
Boy,
background.
we took a while this weekend. We decorated the the studio here. Beautiful Christmas tree behind you. Got the fireplace right over here. Roaring fireplace. Of course, this is two bald guys and a microphone. And good shout out to our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center, www.mchenrymassage.com. If you are stressed this holiday season, they can help you be blessed. Deep tissue massage, couples massage, all licensed massage therapists over there with John. Best of the Fox, year after year. If you want to relieve just any of the anxiety and stuff, I'm telling you what, visit them. Set up a time right now. www.mchenrymassage.com. 815-385-8190. That's just years and years of trusting and knowing that, right? And of course, our good friends over at J.H. Events and Flowers. J.H. Events and Flowers for any occasion. If you have a man cave, if you have a she shed, whatever it is that you have, if you just love great flowers and floral arrangements in the holiday season, bring a bit of that to you. Visit jheventsandflowers.com. Now, two great locations here in Northern Illinois. One, the main here in McHenry, and the other in Fox Lake, right across from the train station.
Yeah, it's brand new in Fox Lake.
Yeah, good stuff. Yep. They're doing great. I'd love to see the expansion of the business. We're going to have them on here shortly. They're just busy during this season. So, first of all, thanks for coming in and joining us. We are always humbled and blessed. Today, what went great in 2023? What went good in 23? And what will be different?
Yeah, what are we going to change?
Or why? Why will 2024 be different? And this might be a couple of weaker. We might get into this. So as we talk about what went great, Coach, obviously a surgery went great.
It did. I'm here to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. I mean, the year started off really squirrely with the with the bypass, the infection, and everything that happened around it. But since then, it's a great experience, and it's really opened my eyes to some of the things I was taking for granted earlier.
Yeah.
Diet, exercise, all those times. We were just talking in the green room about that.
That's it.
Getting that exercise habit going, and then once you break that habit, when life happens and that habit gets interrupted for a while, how do you get it back going? And that's that's
glad you bring that up. We're talking about Reboot. Reboot. Recognize, educate, believe. Operating system, orchestrate, and test. This is what went great for you. The reboot. You did a little reboot.
Yep, there was a series reboot.
That's right. Good morning, Phil.
Hey, Phil.
Lisa, I appreciate what you're saying there. However, I think it's the foreground that's better looking. Just,
the forehead.
That's it. The 8 head. So you recognize some things, whether you had to recognize or a couple of doctors said, hey, maybe.
Well, the interesting thing about that, I mean, you probably know the history of it. I went for a 100-kilometer bike ride on Sunday, and on Tuesday, the eye doctor said, get an ultrasound of your carotid artery. And I'm like, what for?
Right.
I feel great. It did take somebody else to, and it took a while. There was weeks down there. They're crazy. It can't be 87% blocked. I feel fine. There can't be 4 clogged arteries around my heart. I feel fine.
Yeah, biking.
Right? And biked over 1,000 miles last year. I've got over 800 miles this year since the bypass.
Cappuccino, good morning.
Or Drew again. But the initial conversation, I was like, no, I was in total denial. It can't be. Oh, what's that pain in my arm? Right?
Just getting old.
Yeah, just
it's
getting old. Why can't I walk more than a mile? But it is important, and my eyes were opened by it.
Yeah.
So what went well? 2023 has been a year of rediscovery. What went great? Surviving the bypass, getting involved with Bill at Northern Illinois Windows, helping him recovering, finding out I can still operate a business. And then what needs to change?
As a business coach, it's always good to hear.
Well, how often does a basketball coach get to come off the bench and get back in the game?
Not very often.
Bill Russell did it for a while. I think there was one other NBA player.
Meadowlark Lemon.
Was Lemon. But besides that, it doesn't happen very often. So I kind of liken that to this, the coach coming off the bench. And guess what? The coach gets tired easier. And now some situations have happened where I've had to take more responsibility at the company. And I found out, I can do that. What else has gone well? The combat brain training and the work that we've done. I've been to Canada and Illinois Department of Corrections. I've got 2024 is setting up to be a banner year for the brain training. That's coming up. But when I go back to what needs to change in 2024, and that is my health habits. I've had a unique wake-up call and survived it. But yet I found myself falling back into my old routines of getting too busy, getting too involved. And I got to stop that. There's not another chance to recover from this, I don't think.
No, huh? Okay.
So how about you?
It's all been a whirlwind of shit, and I've been standing in front of the fan while people were throwing it at it.
The fecal matter and the oscillating blades.
This has been a 2023 and good morning, Scott. Hold on, let me just tell him I'm on the air. 2023, what went great is my oldest daughter got married, and it was
incredible.
When your kid can come up to you and say, that was my dream wedding. It doesn't matter that I have to eat ramen for the next 7 years. All right.
Which going back to health habits.
And listen, it's not even the good ramen. It's like the ramen from the dollar store. It's
10 cents a pack.
Yeah. But that is what was great. That weekend was just full of love and excitement. And Drew, absolutely love you. Which is great. So yeah, absolutely. It's to me that was the best part. That was the greatest part of the year right there. And of course, your health coming through because you stopped the jinx here. DDOE Enterprises. I laugh, but I'm very thankful that you pulled through. You broke the chain.
Broke the chain.
Yeah, and those who know 21.6 a DDOE understand Ron Host, Peter Galton. Well, you broke that, so I was worried. I literally was like, if you don't come through this thing, we're packing this up.
Well, in intensive care where I was, it's either family or your clergy.
Yeah,
that can visit. Well, you carry the deacon.
That's right.
Card.
That's right.
So you were there for a couple of pieces at the beginning, and a couple other friends of mine who have elder cards or deacon cards showed up, and they're like, you hang out in some pretty strange circles.
We sure do. And of course, look what we got here. Speaking of good, great, and for
Yes.
John.
Hey guys,
Morning, sir, how are you?
morning. Good to see you. This background is not a brain training exercise with the dark and the white. I'm actually at a hotel in Phoenix. I was here for a conference yesterday, so running
Nice.
from the hotel room.
Well, thanks for getting up early.
Yeah, of course.
That is it. Yeah, we're just talking about what went great in 2023, what went good, and why 2024 will be different. And we're just going over my great was, of course, my daughter getting married was a huge day of love. It was a great turnout. And then you breaking the jinx here at 21-6. So yeah. How about you, John? What went great this past year?
It's been an amazing year. A lot of it thanks to Tim. Actually, we've had me on before.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to mute you now. That's because you gave that credit to Coach.
That's right. That's right.
I can't reach.
That's right.
So basically, what we do, we help people all walks of life improve their life, which is a very rewarding thing to do, right? Through our brain training program. Tim's been a huge part of that, helping me and work out the training program, working with some law enforcement and people who really need the help. We've been able to do this last year. Probably the biggest accomplishment is we've been able to start to develop an online version, which I'm really excited about. It'll just allow so many more people to be able to improve their lives online. And that's what we'll be focusing on in 2024. It basically, the cool part about it is it's actually AI driven, but it's human focused. It's all about
that's cool.
All become more human, but it's got an AI engine to help. It's interesting. The conference I'm at is all about being human. We're trying to create a movement for companies. It's another thing we'll be working on next year. I'm excited about try to get companies to pledge to put humans before machines.
Well, there's an interesting concept. The funny thing that you bring that up is we were talking about that in the green room a little bit about you can't go into a restaurant today and see a family there where mom and dad, if not everybody, so take a family of four, a nice son and a daughter, mom and dad may be in their 30s or early 40s, and not one of them is looking at each other, all on a phone.
It's terrible.
And we were talking about how the kids today are, back when we were kids, we'll take Toby Evans, for example. Good morning, Toby. How are you?
Morning, Tobes.
I mean, back when we were kids, we used to play our music loud if we wanted attention from the parents, or we stayed out late, or we pushed against them. The kids nowadays are so different, and they're screaming for attention and love and things of that nature. But it's interesting that you say that, because we were just having that conversation in the green room. With saying that in 2024, how do people look at doing that?
Well, it's got to be a conscious thought. I mean, they've got to consciously make that, parents need to understand that they're modeling for their kids. The other thing you might have noticed in restaurants these days, especially if there's younger wait staff, they're terrible. They have no idea how to anticipate your needs. You got to go call them, and then they get really upset if you don't give them a big tip. It's because they grew up looking at their phones in a restaurant. Right. They weren't able, when we were kids, you said we were kids in restaurants, we were bored, so we had to watch. We watched what the waiters did. We watched what the cooks did. We watched what our parents did. We had engaging conversations. And so, we focus a lot on the kids on the phone all the time, which is not good for their brains. But you're absolutely right, Ken. Yeah. It's the parents that are ignoring their kids to, look at a Facebook post or something stupid.
My grandmother owned a restaurant, so I learned firsthand when I wasn't farming, I was in the restaurant. So
my daughter, my daughter Colette, she works at a local food establishment. It's a national chain, and it's funny because she got written up because somebody left her a 1 cent tip. Now she always gets good reviews, everything, but she got written up for this 1 cent tip. And they said that she set the water down too aggressively.
Oh, that's a good excuse to have to
And
tip someone.
yeah, and I go, all right, so what was the conversation? I want to learn about what the conversation was with your
Yeah.
manager when they're writing you up. And she's like, well, nothing. They I'm like, what was your response? Did you say, hey, look at all my other reviews? I mean,
Yeah.
is it my fault somebody was having a bad day and they chose to take it out on me? And she goes, oh, I didn't say that. You should stand up for
Yeah, of
yourself,
course, of course.
but again, I go back to that. How do you lead people in today's world when everybody's face is in the phone? Chances are their conversation with her was very low to non-existent, right?
Right.
I think one of the things, instead of bringing a basket of bread, they should just bring the basket and set it on the table and say, all cell phones go in here until the meal's over.
Yeah, right. Oh, absolutely. There are places like that. I read something about a restaurant where you have to check your cell phone at the door, and it's actually surprisingly busy.
Yeah,
So,
I bet. Yeah, it's fun.
I'm surprised your daughter didn't just dump the water on their head after that one sentence.
Well, yeah. Colette's my daughter. Who, if you need, if you need somebody to get punched in the nose, she'll do it for you.
Yeah,
right?
She probably should have that one. Yeah, right.
My wife worked at the Golden Bear chain. It's been out of business for a long time, but on Monday nights I'd always take my daughter in for spaghetti night, and I always harass and tease all the wait staff. They were all friends. And one day Fern was my the person taking care of me, and she brought the glass of water over and she set it right in front of me, and as she let go of it, there was a hole in the front of it, the whole glass emptied right under my lap. It was I had a good laugh about it, but she says we keep that for our special.
And to this day, he's still blaming a hole in the glass of water.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right.
Didn't smell like water. Anyway, So what? As we talk about what went great, what went good, do you out there, do our listeners, people who are out there, do you take the time to reflect on the year? Do you take the time, or are you so preconceived and so busy with with the holidays and everything that's going on that you haven't taken time to just sit and reflect? So we've been doing some exercises here at DDOE Enterprises where it is, what went well. We've had a lot of things go well. What could we do better? Really putting plans in place. Drew is an inspiration. He's been working. I mean, the drive that this guy has and the vision is encouraging and it's electric and contagious, right? But it's given us a good chance to take a look back and go, okay, hey, this happened, and there's a lot of things that happened outside of our control, which sucked. But at the same time, this month I've been really taking a look back, reflecting back on the year, the decisions that I've made, and go, why did I make that one? Do I regret making that one? Well, I enjoyed making that one. But as far as some of the decisions on a personal side, I get to look back and go, man, my goal was to lose 53 pounds. I've lost 30. That's pretty good.
That's
right?
Pretty good. Yeah.
And I've kept it off. And that's the important thing, right? Is like, okay, I've changed that piece of the lifestyle to be able to say, oh, okay, and it's a fight. I mean, it's a daily fight. And right now is the worst time of year because you can't go anywhere without Christmas cookies, without, gluttony all around, right? Shayna, good morning. Shayna says, if I can get it up there, I'm a more analyze as you go kind of person. I don't do New Year's resolutions either. Good morning. Yeah, for years I don't know the last time I did a New Year's resolution because I'm the same way. I think analyze as you go. But this time of year, as I'm jotting down my my goals for 2024, I tend to peek back a little bit, right? A little bit more, go a little bit deeper into some things. One of the biggest things you'll see sitting in front of me right here, this is my planner, my day planner, right?
But that's made out of paper.
It is paper. One of the great things that I realized this year is the hashtag pocket computer. I don't pay attention to it. Buzzes it, whatever. Usually I can only get a good look at a portion of the day. I need to be able to see the whole week. You'll see I've got this thing color. It's old school, but it works for me. And what I realized was I was bouncing around like mercury out of its thermometer with bing bong here or there, bing bang, and as I take a look back, I go, man, I had so much unproductive time
right
this year, wasted. I would say I wasn't as efficient as I probably could be because I didn't prioritize what was on the calendar. And I don't know how many times this year you go, oh crap, totally forgot about that. Have to make a call, dude. So sorry, right? So just a few weeks ago, I was like, man, I got to get the paper out again because I can see everything that's going on today. Two bald guys going right now, and it's color coded for me. But I can also see what's coming up the rest of the week, and that's what I need. So it was one of the biggest things that went great for me was to realize, all right, yeah, it may not be cool to show up to a meeting with, my planner, but I have to do it, right?
Do you remember the days of the Franklin planner? When
I love the Franklin planner.
Yeah, it was great.
I run across my old Franklin planner from my military, and I had the 8.5 by 11 one.
Oh yeah.
Even back then I was busy, and I started going through some of the days of what I did back then, and it was a great look
reminder,
back.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't just push the microphone or the magnifying glass and say, I wonder what I had by last doctor. I had to actually turn a page, and maybe there's a spark there. Maybe there's something to it.
It doesn't work for everybody, right? But I have to realize it's like people who say they're going to work out at home. I get a treadmill, a Peloton, something like that. I work out for a little bit, and then there's too many distractions or whatever the case may be. Well, this thing, I've got most of the alerts turned off and notifications because I don't want it buzzing all the time on the hashtag pocket computer. But right, there are times where I'm in a gym, I'm in a meeting, and I don't even feel it go off or hear it buzz. And the next thing you know, you miss a call or you miss an appointment or crap, right? So
I was going to say, Ken, yeah, the other thing, is that, going back to what we do is the more parts of your brain you use to do anything, the stronger the connections.
Yeah.
So when you're taking the time to think it out, write it down, plan it out, you're going to remember it better. And you're going to start to anticipate when it's happening because you've engaged so many parts of your brain for something simple, as opposed to, as you said, this little pocket computer that it's there, it flashes, and you're relying now on the computer for your memory instead of your own memory.
Yeah. And it, since it just, I've been able to say, people are like, hey, I'm like, hold on. Let me look at the, otherwise I'd be like, oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, let's do it. And you go in. Well, I have a family Google calendar. I've got a calendar for DDOE. I've got a calendar for the mortgage business. I've got all these calendars, and I don't care what anybody says. There's not a good one to sync them all up.
No,
it doesn't work. So this is how I sync them all up. You'll see that on Wednesday afternoon, I have time set that is planning. So this is when I set up next week. I take a look. Okay, what do I have going on next week? And I start filling those in today. And since it's written down and I've prepared myself, okay, right? So I'm getting there. We're getting there. But that's a great thing for me to have realized moving forward, it's going to help me be a lot better. It's going to help me be a lot more focused. But the idea of just being able to understand the way I operate better, right? And that, to me, that was a great thing for.
Another good way to use that's harder to do digital is, it's always good to plan and then track your actual, right? So if you plan out, like you said, your week, your meetings, your calls, and your brain training or whatever else, your exercise, ahead, and then every day track your actual. You could be surprised sometimes at how far off you are, but then over time you can sync that up, and it just unconsciously starts to improve your planning.
Yeah,
You're going to be tracking yourself as you go forward. Very difficult to do on the device.
I like what Shannon says too. Unproductive, quote unquote, is the relaxed state that helps creativity. You are. I listen. There's no doubt about it. My mind is going all the time. Oh, that's a show. Oh, that's a topic. Oh, that's a. You ever think of? Oh, I could get that. Go. Oh, hey, look at that play. Whatever. People who know me, know that I love basketball. I coach it. It's been part of my life since I was a kid. We went this past Sunday to the University of Wisconsin, and they played the University of Iowa. My daughter's hero is Caitlin Clark. So we went and we watched this, and I'm sitting there enjoying the time with my family. And my daughter sit right next to my daughter. This is her hero. And I'm dissecting the game because I'm watching how they move. I'm watching the plays they do. I watch their demeanor, the psychology of their game. And I'm just taking it all in. And I'm in heaven, right? I'm literally in heaven. Yes, really. I do like that. Yeah. So the amazing thing is, why I'm bringing this up is, my mind never turns off. And people are like, oh, you got to get your brain to turn. No, I don't. This is what makes me happy. Right. I don't need it to turn off. And when it turns off, you're dead. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Right. That's true.
Or in a coma.
Yeah.
So guys, real quick, I got to hop off in a couple minutes. I got a phone call to make. I did want to leave. So one of the big things for next year that probably a lot of your listeners are thinking about is the whole incursion of AI into our lives. I mean, people are really worried about that a lot, and that's what we're here at this event for. So if I could just give the website, humanai.institute, they can get some information there. And as that gets developed, so Rebecca, the thought leader who's in charge of this, who's just brilliant, we're going to, again, try to create this movement so companies have to pledge to being human first. And so that is the humanai.institute is her site now, but it's going to, over the next month or so, it's going to really roll out just as a resource for people. People that they can report their companies, because we're people, right? We want to be in charge. We don't want the machines to be in charge. So,
well, my wife of almost 32 years will tell you that I am the definition of human artificial intelligence.
Well,
that's a good one. I like that.
These guys that are working with us on the electronic version of the Kennedy method, formerly combat brain training, when you're in the room with Daniel and Stephen, it's clear you're the dumbest guy in there.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
I haven't been in the room, but
they are.
Thanks for saying that I'm dumb.
Well, dumbest, maybe not dumb, but these guys are just.
They are brilliant.
Daniel will come in, you'll be like, yeah, I generated 3,700 lines of code yesterday. I think I got that period moved to the right place.
God bless him.
Right.
But he is so focused. And what a guys.
He's amazing.
God bless him.
We're very, very blessed to have him on our team for sure. All right, guys, I got to run. I always love seeing you guys.
Thanks for taking your time this morning, John.
Merry Christmas.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Talk soon.
That is our good friend John Kennedy of the John Kennedy Method, aka brain training.
Brain training.
Combat.
Formerly combat brain training, being rebranded as the Kennedy
Yeah.
Method due to some people thinking, well, combat brain, we're teaching people to shoot and kill each other. No, the combat brain is a brain that has to react in stressful situations with positive decisions.
Sure.
And how many of us are involved in constant stress in our lives? And if we could just make a little bit better decision, if we could look at our teenager with some of the response other than Dad, I said so.
I'll give you a reason to cry. Yeah. Look, let's roll this in right now at the bottom of the hour, or the top of the hour. It's the bottom of our hour, but we go, I don't know. Yeah, it is the bottom of the hour. Anyway, depends when you're listening to this. Maybe it's the middle of the hour. I have no idea. That would be the bottom of the hour. So maybe it's the quarter of the hour. Anyway, I don't know. I did not plan that. Let's see what Toby says before we jump into I did not plan that. For me, it's not about resolutions. I'm going to make mistakes throughout the year. The goal is to only make new mistakes. That means I've learned something. I like that. Absolutely. I absolutely, you don't want to make the same mistake. Make new mistakes. It is awesome. And speaking of that, let's take a look at I did not plan that. Our good friend Ron Hostry, rest in paradise, my friend, is make life work when plans don't. Outside of your open heart search room, what is one thing this past year, 2023, that you did not plan but you made it work?
The event with the Illinois Department of Corrections just happened through a conversation with an old friend, and from that I've now got the opportunity to train over 1,500 inmates around the state of Illinois.
Right, on how to shiv people. I mean, when you say train them, here's how you make a nice knife.
And somebody asked me, he says, well, won't that just make them better criminals? Well, a lot of the people who find themselves in situations where they are incarcerated have made very poor decisions in their life, and they've begun to feel that those decisions define them. And what we do is we train the brain to make better decisions, and it works. So that I didn't plan that. I didn't come into 2023 saying, I want to hatch a prison ministry. I want to get in and make a difference in inmates' lives.
Right. It was not on your to-do list.
It was not on my to-do list anywhere. I want to go out and be locked in a prison with a lot of criminals.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that.
Sounds like a good time.
Johnny Cash had a real good time doing it.
Right.
But it is one of those things that I think is going to turn out very well, and I did not plan that.
Nice. For me, here's the deal. For me, this year, which I did not plan, was the business moves that I made. There was a point that I didn't plan this in this year that I was like, I've no longer bought into the American dream of work 30 years and retire. Right. I have realized that if you build a life worth living, you don't have to retire from. Right. And I don't know exactly when it hit me, that aha moment. But when it did, a lot of stress melted away. A lot of anxiety melted away. I've got friends
In low places
that worked for 30 years and are retired. They're my age and quote unquote retired, right? So 54, retired. Toby's been a big inspiration for me as well, in the things he does in the creative spaces. And he and I have had several conversations this year, and he helped me realize that man, if you build a life that you love to live, and you can make money at it, and make your family happy and your wife happy, and I mean, go get it, right? And his creativity vision is inspiring, and I've known this guy, I mean, since we were kids, hanging out in his treehouse, which is cool. But it made me realize that I bought into somebody else's dream. You come to work for me for 30 years and we'll give you a little bit of money to retire on.
Yeah.
And nobody ever has that number. Hey, what's your number? I love all your financial advisors out there. I love exactly what you do, but it doesn't make sense to me. Right. So while you're helping me hit a number to retire and live less than paycheck to paycheck, you're making a pretty good living.
A really good living.
Really good living. So the cool thing for me is I did not plan to be in the position I'm in right now, with the freedom that I have, with the vision that I have, with the energy that I have, and making it work. And as scary as it is every day to get up, it's a cool scary, right? It's really pretty cool. And I did not plan that at all.
Out there, Shayna and Toby, any of the rest of you listening, if there's something that happened in your life this year that you did not plan, share it with us. Ron's story, if you haven't read his book, I think, do we have a few copies of it around here?
I don't know if we got, I've got one or two where they're signed and personal, and I'm probably never going to get rid of them. So
it's,
but we can find one for you.
It's one of those things that some of the greatest things in life came out of stuff that wasn't planned.
Yeah.
Well, I can't even think of one right now. I started down a path. I hit a roadblock.
Yeah, we were talking about retirement and stuff.
Well, retirement. I've done.
Somebody needs some brain training.
At least 3 times.
Anyway, all right. Yeah. So the ability to understand and not get thrown off when something does happen that you didn't plan. That's the whole key. I think that went great for me this year. And does that mean it's going to continue to go great? I got to dig, I got to grind every day, but if it does, it does. And I think we got some really cool things happening here at 216 Creator Studios in the upcoming really near future. It's just to me, it's awesome. It's awesome.
One question, for you, did you plan being the assistant basketball coach at McHenry County College coming into 2020?
No, didn't plan that either. Right. Never anticipated being a college coach, especially at 54 years of age. But to be able to be relevant in these student athletes, these young women, be a positive role model for them, and then go out, recruit, and build relationships with families to help students get some of their education paid for, and it's huge. Yeah, I'm having the time of my life. It's a blast. It is a blast. And I don't, being the assistant coach, I don't have to do all the yelling, which is good.
Well, that's how I started at Wilmot High School. I would just want to be an assistant again. And the next thing I knew, I was head coach for the next 7 years. So
yeah, right.
Be careful what you ask for.
No, I put it out there that I don't have the time or energy to be the head coach. I mean, the junior college athletics doesn't pay like Division I college athletics. So to be able to be a head coach, I'm way underpaid for my time if I went an hourly rate, being the assistant coach, just because there's a lot of time. But here's the deal. My happy place, one of my happy places is the gym, right? Because I got a little bit of ADHD. My mind's always flying around. If I can get in the gym, the squeak of the shoes, the smell, the sound of basketballs bouncing, that's good for me. So that's every day I get a chance to be at my happy place. Right. My other happy place is out in nature, where everything is unplugged and off, and I'm able to allow my brain to,
How'd they go?
Yeah. So I mean, to me, that's something I didn't plan either. That's going well. That I'm having a great time with. And my daughter, Colette, she played this first semester. She's no longer playing. She said, I've shot my last basket. She's going to be an incredible coach at some point. But the joy of being your kid's first basketball coach and then their last, that's an incredible journey. So for me, that was like, whoa, that's awesome. It doesn't mean much to her as it does
Now,
to me, but yeah,
it'll hit her later.
but that is one of the coolest things that I didn't plan, and it was great.
Well, and this whole format for the show today comes from my coaching philosophy, and I know you do it as well. At the end of the game, at the end of practice, we always toss that out.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do well? What'd you do great? And what do we need to work on? And when we take a look at that outside of the athletic field, the same thing is going on out here.
Mm-hmm.
In life, if we sat down as parents at the end of the day and looked your wife in the eye and said, what do we do well as parents today? What do we do great as parents today? What do we need to work on as parents? Might be parenting. If our teenagers sat down and said, was I a good kid today? What did I do well? What did I do great? So many of these kids, especially when they would lose a game, and they'd be like, well, I didn't do anything great. We lost. Well, if you put all your marbles in winning and losing, it's going to be a difficult life. But even in a loss, we do something well.
A Facebook user, and I don't know if this is Shayna, if this is Lisa, who it is, but absolutely love this. This year, I got more comfortable accepting how shallow so many are. Takes less time to catch and release those types. I used to hang on until I knew someone understood me. That's going well. Watching people do stupid like they get paid, not so well. It's awesome. It's so true though. When you realize that and you catch and release, they're especially for people who want to be people pleasers and things like that is we tend to hold on. I've cut this year a lot of quote unquote relationships that were just unproductive, right? Energy vampires, we've talked about it in the past, that come in, they suck your energy out, and that's all they want to do. Every time you get that phone call, and if you could line up those people in your phone to say potential spam, you wouldn't spend the time with
talk about show ideas. There's a catch and release is more than just fishing.
Yeah, that's a good one. Write it down. But truly that's the truth. And I think that's huge. I mean, there's a lot of stupid out there. Right.
Stupid is stupid.
There's just no other way. There's just no other way to do it. The other thing is, I've got my rules for success, 10 rules for success. And this is what went really good is reading those every day. Had a conversation with a good friend of ours, Casual Pitts, Dr. Casual Pitts. And he says, hey, when you're on a journey like you're on, you have to focus and follow one course until successful.
Yeah.
And in a creative space in this industry, it's easy to get sidetracked or to go down a dead end, because you're chasing a good idea. But when you take a look at the rules for success, get better every single day. Did you win the day? Do you win every day? And even if you didn't win the day, did you get better? Did you work on something to make you better? Or did you just sit and watch TV? Prove them wrong. there are so many people out there. That's been a big motivator for me. Prove them wrong. Number two, because hey, you got to work to you 30 years and earn a retirement. Even at home, my wife is like, hey, we don't have enough for retirement. I go, why do we need to retire? Right. There's always that stress. So prove them wrong, keep hammering. I mean, I can sit behind this microphone until I'm 130. I plan to live till I'm 140 anyway. So we're good to go. It's human AI. Work on your weaknesses. Do you work on every day? This paper, it was one of my weaknesses, right? This paper calendar. My weakness was not knowing what was happening all the time, not prioritizing, not being on top of things. And I had to realize that. And now I work on it and I spend time taking a look at it, and it has to be color coded for me so that it makes sense. That was a weakness that I had to work on, was my inability to execute the game plan. Right. Execute what you practice. We do a lot of preaching here at 21.6. We have a lot of good ideas. We have got a lot of good things. Do you follow through on those? Hey, I've lost 30 pounds, and it stayed off because I execute what I practiced. Right. Yeah. However, now the challenge, or maybe the uphill portion, is okay. Well, you're in the gym until 8, 9 o'clock. You're on the road. Hey, we're gonna stop, get wing stop. Hey, and it's 8:30. And that's where you go crazy. Facebook user says need to get some old school scratch and sniff stickers to jazz that thing up. Listen, and here's the best thing is, and here's why I love you for that comment is, people look at me and go, man, you're old school. Why do you do that? Right? I don't have my passwords written in it, but it works for me. People drive electric cars. I don't. I drive a big V8 truck because that works for me. Right. You'll never hear me complain about gas prices because I choose to drive a V8. Right. Do I enjoy? Do I enjoy putting $65 worth of gas in about every 5 days? But you'll never hear me complain. Right. I got to look at it because I can make a different choice. Right. One that works for me. But I like this big truck. It pulls wagons. It pulls boats. It pulls campers. I can throw stuff in it. It works. Right. And it's better than having to get a U-Haul to do something. Learn from greatness. This year I have watched people who are good at what they do, who are great at what they do. And I don't compare myself. Now, when you learn from greatness, you can't compare. If I compared myself to those people, Coach, I would be depressed and go, oh my gosh, why not me? Why not me? Why not me?
Right.
However, if I can go, I love what they did there. How do I do it? Right. That's a huge piece where a lot of people slip, is when you learn from greatness, because then you start comparing. Why them and not me? And you can go down a rabbit hole. But if you're studying them to go, how do I move forward? How do I level up? Drew, you, Mike, my business partners, I watch it, how what moves they make, how they do it, because they're great at what they do. And I have to try to learn from that, and not to go, man, I should have done that, or I wish I could have done that. But it's allowed me to go, okay, I'm not good at that space. We are in the process right now of creating a new website here for DDOE, 216 Creator Studios. And in the past, I mean, the one that we have, horrible. I did it. Looks like a third grader did it. Right. And as every entrepreneur kind of does, like, I got it. Well, it hasn't been updated for 2 years. I think Pete's still on it. Right. And I looked at the team and I said, listen, guys, I'm out.
Yeah.
This is not my space.
This is not a place for DIY.
Space. Yeah. This is your space. Right. We're working with Think Big, Go Local. We're excited about our partnership with them. But the idea of me being able to learn from greatness, to go focus on one course until successful, that's not the course I need to focus on. I've got partners who are good at that space. So go get it. Right. but good stuff. Learn from wins and losses. Listen, we fall down every day. I fail every day. As Toby said, just don't make new mistakes.
Yeah,
Don't keep tripping over the same rake, right?
we talk about that all the time, and what we're doing is,
Yep.
when we were young, they circle all our mistakes with big red pens, or they put big check marks beside it, and then have your mother see us, and our school systems created this fear of mistakes, so that
Yep.
we believe we have to be perfect. And
Yep.
and I'm not saying go out and make mistakes on purpose, but go out and try something on purpose.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, figure out why.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. What went well, what went great, and what do you need to change? Well,
Right.
sometimes we don't change, and insanity is quite often quoted as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But I've always said insanity is doing something that works and not doing it again.
Yep.
You stumble on something and it works, and then you figure out, well, it's a lot of work to make that work. And so we fall back into our old habits, our default behaviors.
Yeah.
And and life just kind of like, why didn't we keep doing this? That was working.
We wallow in our failures and not in our successes. And if we learn to wallow in our successes, spend more time in them, we would be more successful.
We have there's a boy on my son's basketball team. He's a good 3-point shooter. He hit
Your
5.
grandsons.
My grandsons. Yes, thank you for correcting me on that. I am old.
Yeah.
My grandson's basketball team, he had 5 3-pointers last night. Every time he hits a 3-pointer, he runs down the floor and he's flashing the 3 like, wow, that's the best thing since sliced bread.
It's a big thing to do.
Then he makes a mistake, throws the ball away, and he starts beating himself up. I can't believe I threw that ball out of bounds. And he's just all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's a line in If by Rudyard Kipling that says, to face triumph and disaster and treat these two imposters both the same. Triumph and disaster, neither one define you.
Yeah.
They happen because you do the right things. And, on your list, I think that's a huge thing when stuff's going to happen. I mean, this has been a year.
Oh, it's been a heck of a year for everybody worldwide.
The personal, the bypass, the infection in my neck, the recovery, things going okay. My brother dying, it's been a year, and I can wallow in that. Go, oh man, this has been a hell of a year, and I can just ride that slide down the hill, or I can say, what did I learn from my brother that is going to help me be a better person? This is really the only thing I took. This is a ring he had.
Yeah.
That just reminds me every day now. I have that on to remind me what an amazing guy he was and how I can continue to strive to be better. I can look at it and say, oh man, I miss my brother, or oh man, I've got an opportunity here to be different. There is triumph and disaster, wins and losses. Title out however you want. They're the best teachers we have.
Yeah. Practice mindfulness is another thing that's, it's rule number 7 on this. Things that went great and things that went good this year. And mindfulness is something that we here in America, in my own opinion, don't practice a lot of. That's why there's so much anger. That's why there's so much hate, because we get out over our skis, or we're never in the moment. You really, if you understand about being mindfulness and just being in the moment, what's happening right now.
Is that how you would define it? Mindfulness is just being here.
Practicing being in the moment, being very mindful of what's happening right now.
Why do you think that's so difficult?
Well, a lot of it, a lot of it is the hashtag pocket computer, right? I mean, you got the hashtag pocket computer rolling, and the most interesting thing is that creates a lot of anxiety, the buzz, and we've chosen to accept a non-reality as reality. Right. And here's what I mean. Somebody made a comment. They're one of my friends. You've never met them. You accepted their social media requests to be your friend. Zuckerberg was brilliant at doing this, to be able to just get in. You know, for some of you young kids, they used to have this blender and it went like this, you know, it was before electricity. And that's what Zuckerberg has done with people's brains and mentality and emotions, is he's got that. He goes, watch this. We'll just call everybody friends. And then you'll like it. And then if they get mad, you don't know who these people are. And all of a sudden they make a comment that disagrees with you, because that's what the algorithm is meant to do. Then we go, oh my gosh, now we get out over our skis. We look ahead, we look past. We're never in the present moment. And when you comment on a post, that post is not live. This is live. You can comment here, but if you're watching this and it doesn't say live up there, right, wherever it is, I don't know where it is. If it doesn't say live up there, then guess what? This is past. So now you're dealing with a past conversation, right? Facebook user says, I want to be more conservative with my compassion. Even if I can fix something for someone, it takes the growth opportunity away from them. Helping doesn't always help.
Boy, have I tried that, to get that point across to someone special in my life who wants every one of our children and grandchildren, their lives to be better. So she just makes them better instead of allowing them to sometimes get through.
I don't think you have to be conservative. This is just my opinion. I don't think you have to be conservative with your compassion. Continue to spread it around. I just don't think you have to go as deep, right? You can be compassionate for somebody. Sister Teresa was very compassionate, but she was in deep, right? But I can, I can be compassionate for my son who's out in Virginia, but I don't have to try to live his life. Right. So there's a difference between compassion and correctiveness. And I try not, listen, we go back to learn from when you're going to fall down. It's going to hurt. Right. As a parent, I'm here to help you up or kiss your boo-boo or whatever. I'm not here to change it for you.
I had a boy sprain his ankle during the course of a soccer game, and as soon as the referee stops the game, I'm always the first one out there, and I get right down on the ground with him. And in this particular case, that's never happened before. It never happened again. But as I'm down there talking to him to find out what the actual injury is, how he's feeling, I tried to make him laugh a little bit to diffuse the situation. I look up, his mom is standing right there. His mom actually came out of the stands, and it was a lightly sprained ankle. It wasn't like he
life or death,
but it was
my baby.
I'm like, ma'am, could you return to the stands? Is he okay? Yeah, he's fine.
Fine. A Facebook user says, I'm missing the dial. It's on or off. Listen, it's okay to be on or off. But you don't have to go deep all the time. I mean, listen, the worst thing I think anybody can do is try to live somebody else's life. My life ain't perfect. Lord knows I make a lot of mistakes. Why would I try to make my kids' life better? Holy crap. I've got to trust in them that when they're on this path this time, that guess what? They're going to figure it out. And, but all I can be is I can be there to pick them up.
Yep.
That's it. I can't tell them how to do it. I can't try to keep them from falling. All I can do is pick them up. I can laugh at them if it's a stupid thing. I can cry with them if it's a sad thing, whatever. But it ain't my job. You're on your own, right? Be ambitious is another good one. We're running out of time, but be ambitious. This has been a huge part of my year. A huge part of why what went good this year was just being ambitious, just getting out in front, chasing it, never stopping, never being satisfied, enjoying it. But let's move this way, or let's move the piece this way, or let's move the piece this way. Big, right, from me. The other is believe in your team. Who is your team? That's a hard thing to do. There are people who have been married for years who don't trust each other. I've got to trust in my team. And my team is the people that I work with here at 216 Creator Studios. It's the show hosts. It's the people that I do business with. It's, in every aspect of my life. It's the basketball team. It's the athletic director. It's everybody in my life who's my team. And I have to be willing to trust them that they're going to do their job. If I can trust them that they're going to do their job, makes my life easier.
Absolutely. And last but not least, learn storytelling.
That's listen.
I'm glad you brought that up.
You are one of the reasons that's on there. People don't want to hear you babble, but everybody can connect with a story.
Yeah.
And if you do enough reading and you're around enough people, you have to be able to tell that story. Every motivational speaker tells a story, and the story has to have a high, a low, and then another high. You got to walk them through the valleys, right? So if you think about parenting, if you think about relationships, you're constantly telling a story, right?
Yeah.
There was a time, there was this, there was that. Let me help you understand.
Once upon a time.
But storytelling is a huge part to life and a way to be successful. I work on it every day, right? I try to bring up several stories on the show because that's where people can connect, right?
And learning to edit the story in process.
Yeah.
I mean, and the stories, they'll grow over time. My wife is very literal, and I'm very
Not.
There's a time they call it poetic license, but here's the story, the beginning, the end, and the middle, and that's really boring. So let's kind of adjust a little bit
Right.
here in the middle so people will listen. Well, that's not the way it really happened. I said, they don't care.
Oh my gosh. Take a look at how many people got upset because Ariel was African-American.
Oh yeah.
The story's the same, folks. The story's the same. But then again, there was the what was that musical that went forever? Hamilton. And there are people that were being represented that they didn't look like the original character, but we loved it. And I just sit here like, really?
Jesus Christ Superstar. John Legend in the makeover was phenomenal.
There you go.
But he was a different look that people weren't used to.
Crazy. So listen, we've got to run, but here's the deal. Come back in about 30 minutes. We've got Metaphysical Meanderings with Master Psychic Lana Duncan Hartgraves. It's always a fun ride with her. Come back in, and in the last 15 minutes of that show, so at about 10 o'clock, you can ask the psychic any question. Maybe ask him about your 2024. She may answer that. But and here's my psychic ability. 2024 is going to be an exceptionally profitable, average year for everybody.
Perfect. I'm glad you brought that up.
That's my psychic powers. Listen, we've got to run, but come back and join us and stay tuned because we've got a new website that'll be coming pretty soon and a couple more really cool surprises coming. So
yeah, just one final shout out to McHenryMassage.com and JH Flowers and Events for making it possible for us to be out here with you every week. So this is the time. My name is Tim Stewart. I am Coach Papa, and I do approve this message. God bless. Travel safe. Now it's time for you to get off the bench and get back in the game.